accidentally turned. Oh my god, stop! What is this? I can't turn this off. Stop.
This is this cold opening.
I literally don't know what's happening to my phone right now. What have I done?
Hello. Kept you waiting, huh? And welcome to Code and Colour.
What is happening? We discuss all things animation, digital drawing, and video games. Why?
MGS, mate.
Huh?
MGS.
Kept us right on brand. Get it now. That was a slow burner. Really was a bit of a reach, bit of a stretch, but I get your angle. Yeah. So I am the completely baffled, was not made aware of that host, Tyler.
And I am trying to be Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. But obviously I've just not got the physique, so my name's Josh.
Not the physique, so I'll just have to be Josh.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Good, man. Good. Been doing a lot of drawing. Been watching a few movies recently. I went to see The Beautiful Fast X, which was really good. All about
What's
family.
beautiful about that?
Just the absolute lack of plot, and just it is the epitome of a popcorn flick. Like, you go in there, you switch your brain off, and you love it for what it is. You're just like, I could devour this. You know?
Don't. I just can't think of anything worse.
Been drawing Miles Morales, because that is coming out shortly. So
that has been. We're going to see that this weekend, delightfully.
We are, yeah. And I just started drawing Supergirl and doing another Miles Morales piece where he's like looming over a city, which will be quite good. What about you,
start of that? It looks interesting.
Thank you.
Yep, not too shabby as always. Well, I've done so much drawing.
You have.
As we discussed last week, I've been trying to, I'll improve on my style, and I think I've found something that's working for me. I really like it. I've kind of stripped it back a little bit, simplified it. Started using more cell shading than sort of blending shading, and the payoff is, if not better than I was going to say, is probably about the same, but if not better. I think what makes it better is that it's just easier, but it just looks so effective. So really liking doing that at the moment. Been drawing loads of stuff. I've started a drawing series of musicians, some of my favourite musicians. I've released 2 of them now on my Instagram at _by_Tyler. Little plug there. We don't do that often, do we? We don't plug. No.
We don't.
So yeah, that's where I've been posting them at the moment. Done one for 2 of my... Well, I've done 2 of my favourite bands so far, The Howl and the Hum and Ocean Alley. Done the lead singers for both of them. Plenty more to come. What else have I been doing? Still watching a lot of YouTube videos, trying to learn a lot. I have been learning a lot, and I feel like it's starting to show. Bought lots of brush packs. Josh keeps going, another one. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you do buy a lot of brush packs.
No, that's the first one I bought, actually, to be fair. The others were free. So, you gotta know where to look.
That's
They're all
fair.
useful.
That is
They're
fair.
all really good. What else have we been doing? Still playing Zelda, slowly. And Fortnite, as always. I don't think I've watched anything within the realm of... Apart from what we're going to be talking about today. It's a nice segue, and Josh's little disastrous opening there kind of helps with that as well.
It's very good.
We both may have watched the recent PlayStation showcase.
If you can call it that.
Yeah, well, no spoilers, Josh. We got a lot to talk about here. But yeah, so do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, the PlayStation Showcase that took place, a week ago? Yeah, 24th of May.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
It was a week ago today from the day that we're recording, which is the 31st of May. 31st of May, said that the wrong way around. Yeah, so it's been a week. There was a lot that is a weird showcase. That's the nicest way I can put it. It showed an awful lot of nothing, but a lot of everything at the same time. It showed so much, but without showing a lot. I think is probably the best way.
Yeah,
I can describe it. If I'm being honest, well, actually, I'm gonna let you go first. Your initial thoughts on the event. Don't hone in on any games, just the overall event.
I came away from the event feeling a strange feeling of like I wanted more,
but not in a good way.
No, like what else can you show me? Like I need to see other things, which is what I sort of came away with. There was high expectations, and especially with what is rumored to be coming, and obvious choices are things that are coming. For them not to be at the show was kind of like, this is not a state of play, this is a showcase.
Yeah.
And you weren't really showing me much, but you were showing me a lot of like meh.
Yeah,
what I mean?
it was like an indie event, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the showcase this time round, compared to the last showcase we had, which was, in hindsight, probably a letdown considering what kind of followed from that. All those games, like the big 4 games that got announced at the last one, right? Oh, hang on, let me think. So we had Knights of the Old Republic, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, probably God of War as well. And out of the 4 of those, only Ragnarok has come out. That was 2 years ago, that event, right? So I think, but if you compare that event then to the event now, maybe they thought we need to make it a little bit more realistic in terms of what we can achieve in the time between this one and the next one. However, it is a showcase, and Sony are one of the biggest companies in the world. They should be able to deliver something. It was very underwhelming. They like the title of this episode says, they overpromised and underdelivered. We got a trailer for Spider-Man 2, which fine.
We knew it was going to be
fantastic. Looked great. Right, it looks amazing, but it looks amazing as that individual property. In terms of the entire event, it was not great. There was nothing I didn't expect to sort of see in that event. To be honest, I didn't know we would be getting symbiote Spider-Man in this one.
I thought Venom would pop up, but like at the end, but I didn't think we'd get his black suit at all.
No, didn't think that was going to be it. So that was nice, but that's all it was nice. And that was at the very end of this hour-long event where we saw Assassin's Creed Mirage. Looks great, but it's an Assassin's Creed game at the end of the day. It's Assassin's Creed. It'll be fun, but it's not going to blow your mind. Let's be real. No matter how many times they try and reinvent that game, it's not going to blow your mind like Assassin's Creed 2 ever did. So, I don't know. What are we doing here?
Another thing to point out as well, not a PlayStation exclusive, which is going to be a running theme as well today.
Yeah. A variable amount of these games are not a PlayStation exclusive. I truly think Spider-Man might have been the only exclusive that was shown, at least of the sort of bigger titles. So we had Alan Wake 2, which looks great.
Yeah.
A nice little horror game. Not an exclusive. Assassin's Creed looks great. Assassin's Creed, not an exclusive. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake looks great. So wow, it looks great.
Delta,
even though it was only a CGI trailer. I'm not a massive MGS fan, but I'll probably play it because I liked MGS5. I'm sure it'll be great, although no Kojima is attached. So take of that what you will. Not an exclusive. So Yeah, I think just overall a bit shit. But let's break
That
it down
sums it
a little
up.
bit more. Yeah, that's the end of the pod. We'll see you next time.
There you go.
No, let's break it down a little bit because there was one game. Well, there's actually two games for me that really stood out. One is Neva, which is a indie game about, I don't know, she seems like some sort of samurai woman, and she has two wolves in this trailer, and one of them is a cub, and one of them is a big adult wolf, and they've got antlers. They look really cool. And some sort of metaphor for death consumes this wolf and kills it, leaving her with just the cub. And I think the game then follows the journey between her and the cub growing up. It's very much like cel-shaded, poppy-coloured.
That's why I likes it.
That's why I like it.
It looks like
reminds me of
Season.
Season. It's cel-shaded. It looks fun. It's Breath of the Wild. It's Season. It screams Tyler.
Yeah, so you're all over
that.
it.
That for me, yeah, I will get that. Not an exclusive either, by the way, but I will get it. I will get it on PlayStation because it's a PlayStation showcase, and that was where it was announced. So screw you, Microsoft, and screw you, Nintendo. Even though I like you both, but you're okay. Yeah. And the other one for me, and I've got a tweet up here in reference to this game, is the Phantom Blade game. So there's a tweet here that says, in my opinion, the gaming industry needs to look at how Phantom Blade Zero was revealed.
Yeah.
Gameplay. They showcase the gameplay. Stop CGI trailers that don't mean anything, that only works for rare games. And you're right. You know, when we saw the CGI trailer for Wolverine or Spider-Man 2 back in 2021, we all went, holy shit. We all lost our minds, right? I'm sure you did the exact same. This trailer came in hot, right? And it was like, wow, it looks stunning visually. It looks like super fun. It's giving Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But it looks like a genuinely good game.
What I took from that was confidence.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that severely lacked this time. They have no confidence in anything that they show. You know, the visuals look great, but we're not playing a game for visuals. Like, we are, but I'm also playing the game, so let me see how this game works. You know, obviously we got a 12-minute gameplay trailer of Spider-Man as well. Thank the Lord. But to be honest, they probably felt like we really have to do that.
Yeah, when that dropped and you saw the first part of the Spider-Man trailer and it was the Craven cinematic and it cuts to the forest, it like zooms up and like goes dark. I was like, no, don't be just giving me that. I want to see gameplay. And then obviously it kicked off and it had the big gameplay thing, and it was good and it was going to be really good. But I
think we just saw the first 12 minutes of the game.
What, you think he gets the suit straight away?
Oh, to be fair though, it's because it did like few months later on
6 months later.
6 months later.
Well, Harry's still got the symbiote because it's in spoilers, obviously, for Spider-Man 1. But Harry's got the symbiote in the tank, so he has to get out of the tank, and then symbiote has to get out and go to Eddie Brock.
Yeah, maybe.
And transition. Right. I think it's like partway. I think it's like the first third of the game because Miles is like, you've got.
I think
new
we're
threads.
early.
Yeah, we're very
early into the game. Yeah, at that point, which is good. No one wants to see the second or third quarter.
Yeah,
third acts of those games. So at this point,
so the game that the game that we're on about it came out very confident. It shows that it's like, we've got this product, we've got this thing that we're willing to show. It did look janky in parts, but for me that's a telling of like, we've got a product, we're confident in it. Here's what it looks like. Yes, it's not finished, but
which
we're
one are
close.
we on about here?
The Blade
Phantom
one.
Blade.
Phantom Blade, that's it. Yeah, Phantom Blade came out and it was just like, this is a product we've got. It's very it is a bit janky at the moment. It's not finished, but we are close to finishing it.
Yeah, man, it looks cool though.
It does, but it's like, that tells me, and I think that Microsoft started doing it in the last press conference, what we were talking about beforehand, is they're saying that all these games are coming out in 12 months, all these games are coming out in 2 years. And like, off what you've said, like, for me, a highlight was the Metal Gear Solid trailer, Metal Gear Solid Delta, what a name. It was, you know, I'd heard rumours it was coming, but then when it showed up, it completely took me by surprise. When Snake popped up, it was really good. But I looked at that trailer, and I watched some YouTubers today, and they were discussing Metal Gear Solid's going to be like 2027. Like, that's not coming out next year. It's not coming out the year after. Like, if this is the announcement show, and they've just been working on this, and they've got this to show, and nothing gameplay-wise, they've got a few screenshots, that this tells me this game's 3 or 4 years off. And that, for me, is... I'm hyped for it. I want to play it. I want to see what it looks like. It's a good game when it used to be. I'd like to see an updated version of it. I love a good... You know, I do love a good remake, much of the time was, you know, Dismay. But if they can bring what made the game really... In terms of games, if they can bring the game back and, you know, polish everything and make it better, like Splinter Cell remake, I'm waiting for it. And we need... Metal Gear Solid is a market that we're missing in video games at the moment. And that sort of genre is a big
There's no
hole
Kojima,
that we're missing.
so you know.
There is no Kojima, but if they, it sounds like it's going to be the team that made Metal Gear, the survival one. No, the really bad one.
Well, that's not the really bad one. That way to sell it, Josh.
Well, no, but they made that from scratch, and they were, what is it even called? I can't remember what it's called, but they made that. With this, what I feel like this is they've taken the template of what Kojima's work is and just expanded upon it. They're not making something new. They're polishing something that's already great and saying like, oh, you've got this map area. Let's make this map area 10 times bigger, make it look prettier. You're still sort of doing very similar stuff, but it's like remade from the ground up. Like Dead Space was, for instance. Very few things changed on that. They kept the core thing together, but polished it to a shine where it looked like a 2023 game. And that's what I want is, you know, the level design's a bit dated, you know, some of the controls are a bit dated. If they updated all that and plus the graphics, I'm a happy guy. I don't need Kojima to come in and write a new story because the story itself is something that more people should experience. So that was a highlight for me. Yeah,
I will probably.
But it's a ways off. It's a ways off. It might even come out after Grand Theft Auto 6. That's how long I think it'll take.
And I think, you know, that's something we should touch upon in a minute, coming back to that. But so we talked about a few of the highlights. I think that, you know, other than Spider-Man, which was obviously going to be great, there's no way it couldn't be, really. You know, Phantom Blade looks interesting. For me, Neva looks interesting. Metal Gear is probably that was a big surprise, I think, for a lot of people. So that looked interesting as well. But that's it. Those are your real hits. There was far too many misses.
There's one more
in this showcase. Oh, which one?
The Plus Squire.
That actually looks fun. That does look.
That
really
looks like
fun.
Mario Odyssey. That looks like 2D to 3D. You're coming across a storybook. I was like,
that's exactly what I thought.
What you were like? Oh, cell shaded. Looks like Season. I was like, miniature. You're playing on a storybook. You come out and everything's tiny. I was like, sold.
Yeah, it kind of.
I'm there.
When you're playing in like a child's bed, you're like a knight, but you're like a drawing, and then you turn into a 3D character and start running around a child's bedroom.
Yeah, I was there. Already there.
It was giving me kind of It Takes Two vibes.
Yeah, I loved it.
And yeah, no, that you're right. I did completely forget that one. But the misses, there was a few misses. Where do we even start? Because it was just bad. Oh, actually, I thought the new Bungie game looked interesting as well. But you're not necessarily a fan. But we've only seen a CGI trailer.
It is an old property of theirs. So when they say it's a new IP, I think Bungie have worked on something like it before. Or something they've worked on Marathon before. I don't know much about it, but I think it's something that's been in the past. And it was
I don't think we've seen enough of it too.
No.
But right,
just
so
like
the
Destiny.
misses. First of all, the biggest problem with it is why did we get a film trailer halfway through it?
Oh, don't even talk to me about a Gran Turismo film. That looks awful.
This is a video game event, and a very big video gaming event, and we got a trailer for Gran Turismo. Don't get me wrong, I get it, but I don't. At the same time, I actually don't get it at all. Like, that is a terrible, terrible, terrible move. That is 3 or 4 minutes wasted that you could have announced or shown something else.
Show me a CGI trailer of Wolverine. You know, something else of Wolverine.
Show me something else, Wolverine. All we got was bloody claws last time. Yeah. Show me some Knights of the Republic. Tell me what's going on with that. Like, that was atrocious that we got that. I think that was rather embarrassing that we got that. What else did we get? Right. Oh God, what was that Cats game?
The Cat
Pirates
Pirate
of
one.
the Caribbean.
Oh, why? Like, why does stuff like that get greenlit? Like, it was.
Pirates. Just in case you missed the name of that, Pirates of the Caribbean.
There were a lot of cats in this showcase. Like, they'd taken Stray and sort of gone, that sells money.
Yes,
Let's
people
make
like
every
cats.
cat. Yeah,
Yes.
let's make everything about cats.
Yes.
And it was just like, no.
Yes.
There's a way of doing it. Stray's the way
Yeah.
of doing it. You know?
Stray is the way of doing it.
Yeah. And there was just a lot of cats in it.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't rate that at all. Like,
There was-
look at that.
There was a couple. I want to say that there weren't misses, but they weren't. They didn't blow my mind. But I was quite intrigued about them. The Towers of Akasaba, where he's doing the Breath of the Wild thing, and he climbs on top of the whales that are like flying in the sky, and he like plants,
Oh yeah.
and
that looks
he
good.
builds some stuff. I kind of like that sort of vibe, and it's like, oh, you have to plant and design your area and customize everything. I kind of like that vibe. And then the Arizona Sunshine I quite liked, which was the essentially Walking Dead VR game.
Yeah.
That looked fun, but that is just the Walking Dead VR game, but another version of that. It didn't
VR
feel original.
games. Again, waste of time.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 being made into VR. Whatever. Also, a large problem with this is it just felt like it was all JRPGs.
Yeah,
A lot of Japanese role-playing games. And I just, Final Fantasy 16. Come on, 16, man. Like, what are we doing? 16. No one needs 16 in these games. And every time I see a trailer for that, because they're always announced Final Fantasy,
yeah.
I refuse to believe every time a Final Fantasy trailer is dropped that people will see it and go, "Oh my!" Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and every time I see a trailer, I'm like, "What is going on?"
That just looks like 60 hours I'm not going to get back.
It just looks absurd, and
Yeah.
I just don't see the point at all. I think so. Overall, it was a lot of misses. I think overall, the biggest problem with this is that they put out too much little. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for indie stuff. Like,
Support your indie
fair
studios.
play.
Yeah, we're all
Fair
about
play.
that.
But this is a showcase, not a state of play. Like, so for those that are unaware of the difference, PlayStation have a state of play event and they have their showcases. The state of play is where it's kind of like a smaller event where they showcase some indie
Throughout the year.
titles and tend to maybe one or two like big drops. The showcases are meant to be, your AAA, your first party studios, big announcements, everything. Instead, we got a new device that shows you how to use remote play, and some earbuds.
Why?
It just wasn't great, and I'm
the
afraid
not Switch, as I call it.
yeah, this beautiful device. It looks cool.
It does.
Probably going to cost about £200-300, and you're not going to be able to use it anywhere other than your house because your PlayStation will need to be on.
It just seems like a very
And I can do
weird
that
thing.
on my Mac. I can
Yeah.
do this on this laptop right here.
I think my wife sort of touched on it because when it popped up, she saw it and I was like, why would you have that? And she was like, well, maybe if someone needed to use the TV and you didn't have the option to use the TV because you were playing PlayStation and you had a child, for instance, they could be playing it on the little handheld controller thing in the house and you can still watch TV.
That's fine, but not for £300.
No, not even a little bit. No,
Which it will be.
it's just another screen.
£200
Yeah,
at a push. It'll be 200, probably about 3, because Sony just charge whatever and everyone will buy it, including us. But yeah, no, not a fan of this event. And I think the biggest problem we're facing is, I don't know if maybe we set our expectations too high as consumers. Maybe we set our expectations too high. But then I see people arguing, like people are saying, you just had your expectations too high, you shouldn't be doing that. But it's also at the same time, it's like, no, this is Sony. This is a showcase. This is something that they've been hyping up now for a few weeks. It's well within their caliber to deliver something fantastic. I mean, look at their games, right? Look at the caliber of their games that they make from their first party studios. This actually is a miss for PlayStation, and it is a real shame. But it is an ongoing trend with a lot of these big studios. Like Nintendo's directs are every time just underwhelming, and then we've got the Xbox one coming next week, which I think we're all a bit like they're banking on Starfield and Starfield alone.
I think that they've reacted to this because PlayStation are very much a reactive studio. Whenever anything's like new, they let other Xbox and Wii test it out, and then PlayStation sort of bring their thing out that joins it up. Like with like the Xbox, they had the Elite controller, then the PlayStation brought out their version of the Elite controller. That sort of vibe. Whereas I think that Xbox has done the same thing now. They reacted to the announcement of the showcase and went, here's, I think, 12 games that are all coming to Xbox.
That were all shown on the PlayStation showcase that are also going to be on Xbox.
Yeah, so they're well in there thinking, right, we're in there with everybody else who thinks these are actually all coming to Xbox. You're not really doing a big showcase. So I think I think for me, I want to see Fable. Fable. Yeah.
What they need to do, they have the opportunity to do something amazing and announce either a new Elder Scrolls or a new Fallout. To be honest.
Well, they've announced Elder Scrolls.
If it's going to be anything, it's going to be Elder Scrolls, right? But they have the opportunity to do something great and show us something other. Because I think we're all thinking they're going to bank on Starfield, but Fable needs to be in there big time. And so does Elder Scrolls.
We've seen a CGI trailer. We've seen a CGI trailer of Fable, and like, I want to see some gameplay. I want to see what's been cooking, and that for me, I'd be happy with that, because they're both they're not Xbox exclusives. They are coming to PC as well. So for me, it's more of an event that's tailored towards myself, which is great. And a lot of them will come to Game Pass day one, which is always great as well. But they need to come out with their heavy hitters, which PlayStation didn't. We had Sony Bend that were missing that did the Days Gone, which is a phenomenal game. They're working on a new IP. We don't know what it is because they didn't bother showing it. Ghost of Tsushima 2. We know that's coming. Like, it's not a secret. We know you're working on a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Show it. Let us get that hype. Let us know why we want to buy your console. And I think Xbox is going to be very much of that ilk of
this
like...
This is a good opportunity. I think PlayStation really taking the L there is a good opportunity for Xbox to have a look at that, how that went down, and the reactions on it. Because Twitter, I mean, I'm a huge Twitter user, were not polite about the event, and it's a lot of people took to Twitter to talk about the event, and we're obviously upset at it because it was just not the one, right? It was not great, and a lot of people were wondering, like, although me and Josh are not exactly bothered about the Last of Us multiplayer, and you made a fantastic point about that to me the other day. But before we get into that, they have now, and a statement has now come out from Naughty Dog and Sony that development with that seems to be slow, to the point where it's almost being put on hold indefinitely at this point.
Have you read the article? Because of apparently Bungie had a look at it and they went, "What's your longevity of this?"
I'm pretty sure I sent this to you. Bungie said, what longevity do you see with this game? Because it doesn't feel like there is. But Josh made a fantastic point: is because they've been working on it, the quicker we get that over and done with, the quicker we can get part 3 of Last of Us, which everyone wants. Yeah. No one wants a multiplayer game, and I'm sorry, we don't need that. It's not. Last of Us is not one of those universes where I want to be playing with, because it's such one of those stories where it's, there aren't many people around, and the people you do meet have such unique personalities, and you treasure those moments for them. Could you imagine then being in a multiplayer game where there's like 20 of you running around? I'd just be like, this just doesn't feel right.
Well, we had the conversation, didn't we, about like what I think it should be, and I'm a big DayZ fan, and I think if Last of Us can make something like that, then that dynamic in Last of Us works for DayZ because you come across people and it's working with those people gives you those stories. Yeah. You make your stories that way. If it's just run and gun, 2 factions fighting each other, shooting each other all the time, that is. But
it's called factions, so it absolutely will be that.
You should just literally put that as either attached to Last of Us Part 3 or put that as a DLC for a game. It doesn't need to be a full release where they need to pumped
Yeah,
loads of money
no, I
into
agree.
it. And like you said, we move on to the next project, which will be obviously Last of Us Part 3. I don't need Uncharted 5, which, as much as I think would be fabulous, I'm already getting that with Spider-Man, or Spider-Charted as I'm calling it at the moment, because that's got everything I need for good cinematics. So I want a Last of Us 3 just to cap off that trilogy and be happy with it. It was like, and I do agree that Xbox should come out, even if it's like Gears of War 6 teaser. I was gonna say Gears of War, it's Gears of War 6, Gears of War 6 teaser, anything to say we're working on this, or just anything that's like remotely, like Elder Scrolls. Give us 5 minutes of Elder Scrolls.
They need a big exclusive that isn't going to be Starfield.
Yeah,
other than Starfield, they can't bank on that, because we've seen. Have we seen gameplay of Starfield? We have.
Loads. There's loads.
We
of
have
gameplay,
seen.
Yeah.
So
it looks nice.
There's not an awful lot that we can. It looks great, and I will get it.
Yeah.
There's not an awful lot that they could show us with that, though, that will carry their showcase. So,
but that's having its own event, isn't it? Afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much straight after. So hopefully it'll be good.
I don't think they'll show it at the showcase.
No, they'll do it at their event.
I think that'll be it. Which is a good thing. I don't want a Starfield trophy showcase that we're going to have a whole event afterwards.
For once, I think it almost seems to me Xbox have taken they've had a rough start to the year / this generation of console, and have probably taken that, as well as and everything that happened with Redfall, etc. And then as well as everything that's happened to Sony in the last week, and gone, right, maybe we need to take these consumers seriously.
Yeah.
And that actually brings me on to something else I wanted to talk about. And one of the biggest problems with this showcase, the previous showcase from PlayStation, and quite often with Nintendo, I find this. And it's a point that you made, which is announcing things that are not coming out any time in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So, you said Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid, probably won't come out until 27.
Yeah. And what's the point? Like, I get it, and I'm happy they're working on it, but it's a long way off. By the time it comes around, it'll be like 2 years from now, and there'll be a trailer that'll drop, and I'll go, oh yeah, they are making this game.
Yeah,
amongst other things, and everything's always here's a cinematic trailer or no release date on stuff, and even Spider-Man fall 2023. Like, it's just just be confident in your product. Come out and say, here's gameplay for everything. Everything's gameplay. Everything is in engine. Everything's being
even if
on.
it's like in alpha. I mean, loads of people tore apart the Spider-Man gameplay and was like, this better be like far from finished, because this looks so rough. And it's just like, the game is due at the back end of the year. Of course it's not ready yet to map it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, some people are just dense, so ignore them. But, don't announce a game that's not coming out for like 3 years. Like, I miss the days of, like, I think back to a showcase or an event. I don't remember which event it was. Back in, I want to say April 2015, when they announced Fallout 4, and then it came out 3 or 4 months later.
Yeah,
5 months later.
That's what it should be, and I think that they should be,
like,
dropping it.
So let me ask you a question then. Do you think this is happening because, the consoles we play on these days are getting much more powerful? And the game, do you think the gaps is because the games are just so much more powerful than they were, like, even like 2, 3, 4 years ago? Like, the games we're getting are on a larger scale.
I think there's a healthy development cycle with games. I think that they do take a while to make. That if they're powerhouses like Last of Us, they're going to take a few years. Like, what is it? Red Dead Redemption 2 took years to make. It was like 8 or 9 years. Might even been 10 years.
Wasn't it?
But that is a powerhouse of a production, and for something like that, that's fine. But when they announced Red Dead Redemption 2, were it 2 years out? When they were like, here's a teaser trailer. And then they sort of like peppered more things across. But we knew that they'd been working on it for 8 years. and
Yeah.
like it had been worked, it'd been grafted, it had been like polished,
Yeah.
to a T. For when they dropped that teaser, we were like, oh, this game's 2 years out. It did inevitably get delayed, but it was almost finished. And like and with these big cycles that they have at the moment, I think that they should have longer cycles. They should, they need to polish the games. They need to, get them ready so that we're not having Redfall over again, or Deadfall as you'd like to call it. But it's when they're choosing to show the game is where the issue comes in. Is Spider-Man 6 months off? Fine, show me a gameplay. Show me a cinematic trailer now for Spider-Man. I know it's coming at the end of the year. If you've shown me a game now where, like, Metal Gear Solid is a prime example, I know we're going to bag on it, but it looks phenomenal. But there's no release date. The next thing we're going to see about that is probably going to be in 2024, 2025. When it's almost finished, and then we'll get a release date that'll be like a year from then. And it's just it doesn't keep the hype going. Like, I'm hyped for Spider-Man. Like, I came off the Spider-Man trailer being like, I need to get a PS5.
It
now.
looks fantastic.
It's
but
out
I
in
think,
6 months.
Yeah, but
4 months, sorry.
I think that was the Spider-Man trailer looks fantastic, and we got a fair amount of gameplay, and I liked that we saw gameplay of Peter and Miles and the dynamic of their relationship and their play style, and it's going to be. I like that even though they're two very similar characters, they're both Spider-Man, right? But they've both got their own unique set of abilities, and they feel like completely different characters, which, so we saw that. It's interesting. We saw a great amount of gameplay that at this stage we needed to see. Fantastic, right? But in terms of the wider context here, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Like, I come away from that trailer going, in the moment, I think we both were like, oh my God, this looks amazing. And it does look amazing. Like, I want to really drive the point home that game looks amazing, and I cannot wait for it. But was it enough to carry this event? No, I don't think it was. And they banked on it too much. And I think the problem we're getting into now is these showcases. Nintendo do the exact same, right? They'll give us a bang average showcase for an hour, which are usually JRPGs. And fair enough. There's an audience for them. I understand that, but they're not popular. Like, globally. They're just not, like, at all. So they give us a bang average showcase where you give us something. PlayStation have given us a load of interesting look indies. Oh, here's Assassin's Creed, cool. Here's Metal Gear, cool. Here's Alan Wake 2, cool. Here's Five Nights at Freddy's 2, cool. Fantastic, right? Not much to see from any of those, but cool. And then just go, oh God, this is just crap. And then they give us a trailer for that. And it's becoming a lazy thing where they just roll out a load of crap and then give us one trailer at the end. And it kind of makes you think to yourself, well, do you only actually care about your big flagship ending here and nothing else? Because nothing else has the love that Spider-Man trailer did. And I don't know.
Well,
it's just not great.
Touching on your Nintendo thing, obviously the showcase of showing a lot of JRPGs, and then they drop right at the end. Here's Tears of the Kingdom. It's coming out in 4 years.
Yeah,
you know, and they're all guilty of it. You are right. They're all guilty. Like, Fable got announced like 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah. And I'm still waiting for that to come through through Xbox. And
I think the only good thing Nintendo have ever done is February last year where they had it was either a Pokemon or a Nintendo Direct. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a Pokemon one. They announced at the very end Scarlet and Violet, and then it came out the same year.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's quite good for them. Do you know what I mean? Usually they announce a Pokemon game and we won't see it for a year. And it's like, oh, for the love of Christ. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just annoying.
We are greedy as a people.
We're not greedy. We are in the age of technology. We are in the digital age where we have the most talented people creating these like games, films, music, TV shows, anything, right?
But we want it now, though.
But I don't want it now. I don't necessarily want it now.
Not
I
us,
just want
but people in general.
I think what's really annoying is when I think back to like a PS2 or a PS3, the options for the amount of amazing games there were to play was limitless. These days, it's like, I go into like a I'll go into a game shop or a CEX or something like that, and I'll look at the options, and I'm like, there's just nothing to play. There's nothing, and I'm looking at these games like, that looks naff. I think we just don't have the options anymore.
I think you are right. I think the caveat to that, let's play my favourite devil's advocate. When the games come out for the PS2 and they came out for the 360, and more stuff like the PS2, we had a demo disc. We had a demos dropping for this today. You know,
bring that back. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, play it to your heart's content. Like even like I don't even think we do it anymore. Like I remember playing Superman Returns, the demo, till my fingers bled. Because it was like, you play Superman, and all I'd do is just fly around the map. I wouldn't even do the demo bits. I just liked flying around the map and going into like supersonic. And I don't think they do things like that anymore. And I think that you are right. You should bring that back.
Demos need to come back, right? But look at jump forward 10, 15 years later. Look at the success of PT.
Yeah.
You know, when they dropped that trailer, I think I've played it like 7 times. It's just amazing, and every time I was like, it's still fantastic. It's scary. It's exactly the right amount of a gameplay I need to see right now, and that. Like, I want more of those showcases where they'll go. Let's take PlayStation for example. They go, this is Phantom Blade. Here's some gameplay, but why don't you try a bit of gameplay out yourself? Here's a 25-minute downloadable demo available right now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, where's that? Bring that back.
Yeah, like, why are we not going straight, like you said, going straight from that? And all these games are all, you can play that right now, because your best testers for games and how people are going to react to them are the people that are playing them.
Yeah, they did that with the first when they brought back Star Wars Battlefront. They had that that playable demo, and you could play 2 maps, and then they even extended it by a day because so many people played it.
Yeah,
and they got so much like feedback on it, and it was like, wow, yes, like playable demos, bring that back, man.
Yeah.
Bring that back. Also, one last sin bin for the PlayStation showcase that I want to say. That Splatoon attempt game that they announced
Stars
can get in the absolute bin.
Yeah.
You piece of trash. And on that note, my CNC recommendation for this week is a fantastic animated show. It's called The Legend of Korra.
Oh, nice.
And who for those? It's funny, we never tell each other what we're gonna recommend, do we? Which is quite funny. The Legend of Korra, for those that are unfamiliar, it is a continuation / spin-off of the wonderful Avatar: The Last Airbender show, and it follows. It's like, isn't it like how many years? Like 100? Because it's not quite 100.
No, because Aang's old in it.
No, Aang's dead in it.
Is he dead?
Because otherwise Korra couldn't exist. You can only have one Avatar, my friend.
Isn't it Aang's kid who's got the beard? The guy who's got the Avatar arrow.
Yeah, it's I can't remember. It's J.K. Simmons. I can't remember his name. Anyway, so it follows, and interestingly, every time there's a new Avatar, it's one of the different nations. So he was an airbender, the next one is a water, the next one will either be a fire or an earthbender, and it always rotates around that way. So it follows a waterbender called Korra, and she is... It's a very different experience to Avatar. Aang obviously goes through quite a lot of catching up. You know, he's come into a world where the Fire Nation are ruling, blah, blah, blah. He has to find his way in the world on his own because there's no other airbenders, hence The Last Airbender. And then Korra, you know, the world has kind of like back to normal. Everyone's at peace. Until it's not. And yeah, I think she goes through a lot of different journey. Like hers is about a self-discovery, I think, and his is about trying to... I don't know how to explain it. Josh, help me out here.
I've only seen a couple of episodes of it.
Brilliant, that's really helpful.
Unfortunately,
I'd say Avatar...
it's really good, though.
I'd say, Aang goes through a lot more, like, not necessarily self-discovery. He goes through a kind of like a almost a journey of retribution is what I'm going to describe.
He does go
that
from
as.
adolescence as well, though, and he's going.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
growing up, he's, you know.
Yeah. I think Korra deals with a lot of more internal conflict.
Yeah,
than,
because she's older as well, isn't she?
Aang deals with a lot more sort of worldwide conflict. So it's quite interesting in that dynamic. It's a very different show. It's set way in the future of Avatar, and it's super good.
Animation's
super good.
great,
and it's amazing animation. Yeah, so that's my recommendation for the week.